to the creator of the heavens and the earth, his son Yeshua, and to the Holy Spirit. Today's lesson will be on our oneness with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Even with our brothers and sisters, we must have a oneness, one mind, one spirit, and one truth. Our oneness to make it in these last days, brothers and sisters. So let's get straight into it. We're going to get straight into the lesson today. We know that we read the Bible according to the precepts. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9 and 10. For precept must be upon precept. Line must be upon line. Here a little and there a little. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. That's how you do it. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Line upon line. Here a little and there a little. Hello. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Whatever language you speak, he's going to speak to you in that one. Hello. To whom he said, this is the rest wherewith you may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken, snared, and taken. Stop right there. You can either receive the precepts or you can receive the Christian church, which is the precepts of men. But we're going to get straight into it. We're going to start during Adam's time. Let's go to sealed portion, chapter 17 and verse number 1. We're going to start during the days of Adam. And it reads, and Seth grew in righteousness. What? And Seth grew in righteousness and followed in the steps of his father and did all things whatsoever the Lord commanded him. This is what Seth was walking in. And Seth had the pure blood of Adam within him. I like that. This is the blood they love. This is the blood they love to drink. They like to drink it on Wednesday night. They like to drink it on Thursday night. They like to drink it on Friday night. And you know they like to drink it on Saturday night. Everybody that goes to the hospital, they just taking blood like nobody's business. That's what they do. They drink it. They love that pure blood. And Seth had that pure blood of Adam within him. Hold on real quick. And Seth had the pure blood of Adam within him. And he had many sons and daughters born unto him. And he begotten a son and called him Enos. And Enos also grew in righteousness of the Lord. So you got Seth growing in righteousness, Enos growing in righteousness, and Enos begotten a son and named him Canaan. And Canaan also followed in the footsteps of his father. See that? In righteousness. And Canaan was a very strong man among men, and was pleasant to look upon. Meaning he was handsome. And was pleasing to look upon. And the desire of many women. And the desire of many women. He had that pure blood in him. Good looking. Nevertheless, he was faithful. Nevertheless, even though all the women wanted him, he was faithful to God. Hello. All praises to the Most High. He was faithful to the commandments of God and the counsel of his fathers. And the what? And the counsel of his fathers. You see it with the S? You see fathers with the S? Yeah, I see the fathers with the S. And the counsel of his fathers in all things. Remember that. And he became one. And he became one of the most popular leaders among those who were righteous. Highlight that. This is Canaan. Where's his writings at? And Canaan begot a son named him Mahalath. And he also followed in the footsteps of his father. Was that 4 generations following God? And Mahalath begot Jared, who was like unto his fathers in all things. His fathers, with an S, in all things. And Jared was ordained in the holy priesthood and served with his fathers, with an S, in the church of God that existed among them. And it was in the early ministry of Jared that Adam called his children from all parts of the land to give them his counsel. Stop right there. Look at all these righteous people. All these righteous people. And the people gather themselves together, even those who belong to the church of God, and also those who did not belong to the church. Stop right there. So there was a division. There was a separation, but both went. You had those that were walking in righteousness, and you had those who were walking in wickedness. And the descendants of Benelli had gathered themselves on one side, and the sons of Seth were gathered on the other side. This is called a separation, brothers and sisters, from the righteous, from the wicked. This is what's going on right now. But God was still in the midst of them. And Seth sat with his father, Adam, among the people. And Enos and Cain and Mahalalel and Jared also sat among the people as Adam had instructed of those who led the church of God. For behold, Adam would not suffer that the leaders of the people place themselves above. Stop right there. Highlight that. Got to stay humble. But when you got to be a leader, you got to be a leader. For behold, Adam would not suffer that the leaders of the church, of the people, place themselves above or in front of those who they serve. And it was customary among the people, or the leaders of the church, that they sit with the congregation of those who had gathered to hear their words. And when it was time for them to speak, this leader would raise up from among the people and take his place in front of them and deliver that which he was inspired to teach unto them. And immediately after preaching unto the people, this leader would return once again to his place among the people. Verse 7. Hold on. And in this way, the people were taught that their leaders were their servants. What? Their leaders were their servants. This is what's going on. And that the people should not envy their leaders. And the people should not envy their leaders. And the people shall not envy their leaders. Neither shall they bow down and worship them. This thing being an abomination of God. Highlight that. Now I, Moroni, would that you should know that Cain was not present at this meeting in Adam, a man, for he was banished by his father Adam from among the people, after he was made known unto Adam that which he had done to his brother Abel. Stop right there. But the reason why I read that is because I wanted to show you guys the righteousness through how many generations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 generations. Righteousness was growing. But what were they doing? Righteousness was prospering. Was growing for that many years, even among the wicked. Even among the... So this is what you got to understand. They was preaching the gospel. This is what you got to understand. That even the wicked were among them. So don't think that this was a perfect congregation. There were some that were righteous. But you see that Benali went. You see his descendants go to the congregation, to the meeting. That's what you got to understand. But there was a spiritual separation that they didn't know about. Some of them did, but there was a spiritual separation. Hello! And this is what's going on today. Even though you might be in the church, even though you might be on the land, you could be still separated from God. Now, let's go to seal portion 18. And let's start at verse number 1. We're going to read about what Adam was telling them about. And now, I, Moroni, continue with the words of Adam that he spoke unto those who were gathered in the valley of Adaman. And when the mothers of our spirits have raised their children to maturity in the world, or our eternal parents. So Adam right here is telling his children about our eternal mothers in heaven. He's telling them what was going on, what they have in heaven. And each is ready to determine for itself what kind of happiness that each desires. For they have experienced the happiness that exists among those who live in the world in which they were created. In other words, they have experienced the type of life and the type of the things that are done in this world that bring happiness to those therein. Verse number 3. And we were taught that these exalted beings experienced a fullness of joy. Stop right there. So Adam is explaining to his children, before we came into our second estate, that we were taught that these exalted beings, which were our eternal parents, had a fullness of joy. And because of their joy, they dwelled in a state of happiness forever. In order to teach us so that we could understand, our mothers showed us the fruits of the joy that they experienced. This is what they taught you in your first estate. For an example unto us, this is an example. There would pluck a piece, they would pluck a piece of fruit from off of a tree and show that fruit unto us. Stop right there. So they would get an apple or an orange or whatever and show the fruit unto us. And they would describe its shape and its size and the texture of its skin unto us, and allow us to hold the fruit in our hands and feel that of which they describe. So we would feel it in our hands, right? But to us, now this is what we experience because we didn't know any better. But to us, as spirits who did not know the difference between good and bad, or between soft and hard, nor did we know the difference between hunger and the feeling of being satisfied. We did not understand completely the feeling of joy that our mothers tried to explain unto us. You guys see that? We didn't understand. We didn't know the difference between hungry and satisfied, good and bad. We didn't know all that. Verse number 5. And they would eat the fruit and make the sounds of enjoyment. They would what? They would eat the fruit and make the sounds of enjoyment. Like, this is good. This is good. As they taste the sweetness thereof. And a smile would form upon their face, and a happy sensation would exude from within their perfect bodies, and we could sense the joy that was felt by our mothers, but we did not understand it. Now listen to this. And then they smiled. We could sense the joy of their smiles. See, we can sense that. But we did not understand what it was that made them smile in this manner. And when they sung to us, we could hear the words of their voice and the tenderness of their melody that resonated throughout our spirits. But we could not understand why it should cause us to be joyful. Nevertheless, our mothers received much joy from singing to us, and teaching us to sing, and teaching us to sing, and teaching us to sing. This is why many of you guys got talent, could sing. And though there were those among us who could sing the songs and melodies that our mothers taught unto us, none of us could understand the reason that these brought so much joy to their hearts. So now, the eternal mothers were showing them the joy of eating food, the joy of singing, the joy of melodies. These are joy. This is what they're trying to teach them. Are you? And they would hold us gently next to them and cry upon us. This is what they did. Which crying was caused from the exceeding joy that they felt because of us. This was also a joy. These are tears of joy because they were holding us in their arms. Yet we could not understand the cause of their tears. And when their tears would fall upon us, we did not have the capability of determining the wetness thereof. And though we could sense a change in the sensation of our own spiritual bodies, when these tears would touch us, we could not determine for ourselves the meaning of such sensations. And we did not understand the peace and harmony that exists among those who dwelled on this world. Stop right there. Highlight that. This is talking about people that live in the celestial kingdom. Oops. They did not understand the harmony that exists among those who dwelled on this world with our father and our mothers. This is why we had to come to this world. We didn't understand the love, the fullness of love, the unconditional love that they have. For there were other fathers and other mothers that did not pertain unto us. These were other beings that were celestial. These were other beings that were celestial and were not part of our eternal family. That's a mystery. That's a mystery. Remember that. And there were other spirits there also, which were not created from the direction that our Father provided, but were given bodies of their own eternal mothers and fathers. And this world was great and glorious, and it was filled with eternal families of eternal parents, creating spirit children. That's a mystery. This is what you know. Let's keep walking. And then the work of the eternal fathers, remember that with an S, fathers, was complete in one part of the vast expansion of the heavens. Yea, even when they had placed their spirit children on the planets in the parts that they had prepared for them, these fathers would then go to other parts and create other worlds for the spirit children that were being born unto the eternal mothers that reside in this world. But this peace and harmony and cooperation, we did not understand. Stop right there. And some of us are waking up to this knowledge. Some of us still don't understand. But we didn't understand what he was saying. We didn't understand when we were in the spirit world when they were explaining this to us. For we had not experienced anything but that which had always existed there. And we took for granted the greatness and glory of this world in which we were created. And we assume that all worlds, Hebrews chapter 1, 1 and 2, worlds, were like unto this one, having not experienced anything different. So we thought that all the worlds were celestial. No. And now, my beloved children, if it were that we could eat a piece of fruit that is good to the taste and which maketh us happy, why is it that we could not want to continue to partake of this fruit? And the joy that is provided forever. And this is the thing that our mothers explained to us. And we could see that the makeup of their bodies were different than our own. And we could see that unless we had a body like unto theirs, we could never partake of the fullness of joy of which they partook forever. And it became apparent unto us that not all of us were the same. They started to figure out, or we started to figure out, that our parents were different than us. Even that our spirits were very individual with different desires and trials that made us unique in and of ourselves. And we knew that there were also much joy in these differences. Yea, we did not understand these differences. But as we grew in spirit manner, stop right there. This is what you got to understand, that you had a life before you came to this life. You had a life before you came to this one, brothers and sisters. Don't think this is your first life. Your first life was your first estate. So you started growing in spiritual matter, meaning your body was growing that you had. But as we grew in spirit matter, this is where you met your wife that you with right now. This is where you met your husband that you with right now. You met them in the first estate. You had to find each other in your second estate. That's too deep for some. But as we grew in spirit matter, our eternal mothers began to discern our spirits and teach unto us the type of joy that would suit each of us. Stop right there. If you go back to that movie, Soul, if you watch that movie Soul again, I watched it the other day, You're going to go back and see that the eternal mothers in that movie put the spirit children in categories. You had those that were going to be shy in one group. Those that, for those of you that are shy, that you're not very outgoing. It shows you in that movie that they made some of the spirit children in that movie, they weren't very outgoing. They said, you guys are going to be shy and not very outgoing. And then you guys right here are going to be outgoing and talkative and this and that. So don't think that just because you're not very talkative, that's a demon or something. No, that's just you. You were created like that. All right? Verse 15 again. But as we grew in spirit matter, our eternal mothers began to discern our spirits and teach unto us the type of joy that would suit each of us. So you all got different types of joy. They were discerning your spirit, meaning like you had a talent. They even show you in that movie that certain individuals will have talents. Someone gonna like to sing. Someone gonna like to teach people. Like in that movie, the main cartoon character, he liked to teach. He just didn't know that. He didn't know. He thought he was a musician. Even though he was very good at playing music, he liked to help people. He liked to teach people about life and all that stuff because he was a teacher in that movie. So he was trying to decide what path he was going to go on. But he ended up finding out that he was more of a teacher. And bringing us the state of happiness that would best suit or fit the makeup of our spirits, and that which would best comply our personalities and the traps that made us unique in and of ourselves. Stop right there. They show you all that in that movie. Your spirit mothers discerned what type of personality you would have, or what you were growing in, what kind of talents you had. You were being, in that movie it shows you were being taught already what you liked and what you disliked. This is what Adam is telling his prosperity. And can you imagine what they are thinking? What they are like, what you talking about, Dad? No, we earthborn. We human beings. No, Adam's like, no, you're not. You came from another world. You came from your first estate. This is what he was explaining to them. So now, let's stop right there. This is what Adam was teaching his prosperity. Now we're going to go to this book. Tashar. You can either pronounce it with it silent, the T silent. We're going to go to this book right here. And we're going to go to the writings of Moroni. We're going to go to the writings of Moroni, and we're going to go to chapter 3, starting at verse number 9. Yeah, Media True Flow, we'll put it on the board. It's on PDF. I'm battling a sore throat right now, so bear with me. Put a number 1 up when you're there. We're going to go to the writings of Moroni, chapter 3. We're starting at verse number 9. It's page 217. 217. You guys ready? You're going to find out that there's a... Well, just watch. It talks about the brother of Jared in here. And it reads, you ready, Media True Flow? You ready? So they can, yeah. All right. And the brother of Jared also, and his family, for behold, they did fulfill all the promises of God. Stop right there. They did fulfill all the promises of God. That's what you got to understand. The brother of Jared also, and his family, for behold, they did fulfill all the promises of God. Therefore, they did obtain heaven. So now you guys know that they went to heaven. They went to the celestial kingdom. They did obtain heaven. They up there. Yea, they did obtain heaven. And their history have I written and sealed up. Stop right there. And sealed up. Let's go. Daniel's 12 and 4. This is where you get the sealed portion at. Did seal up, right? Let's go to Daniel's 12 and 4 real quick. But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Stop right there. You guys see that? We're going to hold that. We're going to hold that. Let's go to another precept. Let's go to the writings of Moroni, chapter 1 and verse 50. The writings of Moroni, chapter 1 and verse 50. Put a number 1 up when you're there. The Writings of Moroni, chapter 1 and verse 50. But remember, oh remember, that he that receiveth only the lesser portion of the word of God receiveth no more. And they who receive the greater portion are given more. This is why we are given more. Until it is given to them to receive all that God would give them. And thus they would come to know God. And thus they would come to know God. This is what you're doing. And thus they would come to know God, knowing all his works. And thus they would come to partake of all the glory of God as he comes to enter into all his works. And these works are hidden to most. This is what you got to understand. These works are hidden to most, sealed on the back with 7 seals. With what? Sealed on the back with 7 seals, as his servant John did state. Is that Revelations chapter 5? That's your precept. But they are not sealed to us. But they are not sealed to us who enter therein. For we have, through our faith in Christ, loosened the seals, and we have a free and open communion with one another. Yea, all those who have loosened the seals do know each other. Stop right there. You gotta see that. Everybody that has loosened the seals got to see the book. You already knew each other in the spiritual realm. They mess with my chat again. For it is manifested unto us as we do minister and are ministered to. And it is by this means that we do enter into the same order and partake of the same work, which works are the works of salvation. Now listen to this. And thus we have power over death and fear and suffering and pain, and are caught up in our consciousness. For I did behold with the eyes of my spirit things which I could not behold before. This is what's happening to you. Before you were like eternal mothers, eternal fathers, other planets, other worlds. Now your knowledge is being increased. And by this means, bear with me, did my natural senses begin to quicken. And this why I hear what I was sharing this with the brothers the other day. I feel in my spirit like my senses are growing. I can feel things that I could not feel before. I was telling the brothers that the other day. Let me see if I can. This is what's happening to you, if you didn't know. Within me, until my faith was so sure that I did not with certainty bear witness with my natural senses, that which I did before behold with my spiritual eyes. And I do now proclaim and bear witness that there are many who did preserve themselves from death and the sword, and did come into a higher order of things, even as it was in the days of old, so was it so with us. For we did begin to behold with our natural senses and experience in our flesh the fulfillment of all things which our fathers had promised. Stop right there. So everything, just like our eternal mothers were trying to explain to us when we were spirit children, we did fulfill all those sensations, those spiritual, we doing it right now, brothers and sisters. We are becoming eternal. If you didn't know that, right now, your mind is getting prepared. Your spirit is getting prepared on what you're about to put on when Christ comes back. Let's go back. I can't see the chat no more, so you guys gotta bear with me. This is the writings of Moroni, chapter 3, and verse number 11. For behold, the brother of Jared did look unto heaven. The brother of Jared did look unto heaven and beheld the family of God. Stop right there. This is what the brother of Jared saw. He looked up to heaven and he saw the family of God, your family, and did know and did understand that the priesthood, which is the family of God. Stop right there. You returning back to your family. If you under this order, you are returning back to your family right now. And he did see that it did compass all the peoples of the earth who did come unto God. He's seen it. He's seen everybody that was coming to God through the priesthood. Yea, from the beginning, even unto the end of time. So even from the time of Adam until the end of time. Still a portion. This is why we have the writings of the brother of Jared. Verse 13. And he did see that our father, Adam, did go forth on the earth, and they did multiply. So we read earlier about his sons that were righteous. He multiplied in righteousness. For behold, they were many to begin with. There were many to begin with. And our father Adam was the first of many. Therefore, they were all organized from the beginning in a heavenly manner, and they did know from whence they came, and did continue that type here upon the earth. Stop right there. Because why? Because Adam taught them that they came from eternal parents. They knew where they came from. I showed you that earlier. So now you guys know. The rest of the world don't know this, but you know. For that order did exist among them. For that order did exist among them, which had always been from everlasting to everlasting. They were a part of the family of God on the earth. For they were of one heart. You see that? They were of one heart and one mind. This is the oneness. And one flesh, being in harmony with one another. Stop right there. When you are in harmony with your brothers and sisters, you are becoming one. And thus there was peace and love among them, for there was no separation because of the harmony. Stop right there. Because of why? Because of the harmony. You see how the Most High got us talking about separation? He's given us all the instructions not to be separated from him. And they did not set one before the other. And they did not set one before the other. For all were equal and as one. Stop right there. This right here is Adam's prosperity. This is what the brother of Jared's talking about. And because of this oneness, somebody say oneness. And because of this oneness, the earth did flourish. It did what? The earth did flourish under their hands, for the earth did recognize. See, the earth recognizes. She said the earth did recognize it's alive and respond to their dominion and did bring forth abundantly for the joy of the Lord. Stop right there. You got to understand that the earth is alive. And if you walking in this oneness, the earth is going to provide for us. But if we're not walking in this oneness, you're going to have a famine. Like today. And when children were born unto them, they did continue the heavenly order. For the love of God, which is the priesthood of God. What? For the love of God, which is the priesthood of God, was in them to its perfection. Stop right there. Talking about the babies. When they come from the celestial kingdom to this earth, they're perfect. But behold, as the children began to grow up and experience their own will, contrary to the love of God, the disharmony begins to destroy the holy order of God. Stop right here. The what? The disharmony. This is what's going on. Destroys the holy order of God. For the oneness began to break apart, and they began to divide off from the order had been established by their fathers with an S. Talking about Adam, talking about Seth, Enos, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, and go forth 2 by 2. Stop right there. This is what happens. They started to disharmonize themselves, and they started to go 2 by 2s. Therefore, there began to be a great division in the holy order, and the oneness which once existed in that priesthood remained only with a select few. Stop right there. It only remained with a select few who did follow the holy order, who did follow the holy order. So if you choosing to do your own thing outside of what God is establishing, you are being separated. And behold, when Cain did slay his brother Abel, and it did cause great havoc in the holy order, for it did introduce the works of Satan for the first time into the holy order itself. It started with murder, hating your brother. Satan is the one that did this. He's the same one that's doing it right now. Verse 25. For previously to this time, Satan did have no hold on the hearts of the children of God. Before this, he couldn't get hold of nobody's heart. The only evil they did before this time was the consciousness or consequences of their own choices. That's the only evil they did, was the consequences of their own choices. Like Adam and Eve. Being out of harmony with the holy order. You got to understand, this is a holy order. We got to be on the oneness with each other. If you're not, then you falling away and don't even know it. If you all about yourself, if you're trying to do everything by yourself and be by yourself, you ain't a part of this. You're separated. This is a spiritual separation. You could be living right by us, on the land, wherever. You could be spiritually separated. This is what it's telling me. Being out of harmony with the holy order, which order exists because of God working in man. But behold, when Cain did rise up and slay his brother, he did it by covenant with his father. With what? With his father. And thus power was given Satan to begin his reign in the children of God in the flesh. And thus did the work of destruction run rapid in the holy order. Stop right there. Right when he did that, Satan got access in the holy order. For Satan began from that time forth to rage in their hearts. And behold, the children of God did from that time forth begin to choose Satan. To do what? And behold, the children of God did from that time forth begin to choose Satan as their father. For they chose not any more to follow after the order of the Ancient of Days. This is what you see. This is why you see people leave. They made a conscious decision. Therefore did Enoch see that heaven did weep over her children. For they did choose Satan as their father, and caused some other law in order than his priesthood. Therefore they chose Satan and his priesthood, and thus did Satan's kingdom grow, and he ruled his kingdom unto this day. And the children of this world, and the children of this world, know not that Satan is their father. Stop right there. If you're a part of this world, you don't even know that Satan's your father. This is why there's only two churches. And that he reigned in their hearts, even all. And even those who have chosen Jesus Christ, even those who have chosen Jesus Christ, the Son of God, have not chose him as their father. Stop right there. What? Have not chose him as their father. For verily, verily, if they have chosen him as their father, then will he lead them unto the Father. For did he not promise that he would even introduce the Father to them, and both the Father and the Son would abide in them? Stop right there. Let's get a precept real quick. See, you either have Satan in your heart, or you have the Father and the Son in your heart. This is what it's coming down to. Let's get a precept real quick. Let's go to John, chapter 10 and verse 30. John, chapter 10 and verse 30. John chapter 10 and verse 30. And it reads, I and my Father are one. Are what? Are one. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus answered them, many good works have I shown you from my Father. For which of those works do ye stone me? The Jews answered him, saying, for a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because thou, being a man, makest thyself God. Jesus answered them, Is it not written in your law? I said, you are gods. Stop right there. I'll let that marinate. Is it not written? He said, is it not written in your law that I said, ye are gods? Hello. Oh, man. It went off. Can you guys see me? It went off. There it goes. Can't even see the chat, man. All right, let's continue. Verse 34, Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said, you are gods? If he called them gods, unto whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken,